What's good, people? It is Tony the Savant. And before we get started, please like this video, share this video, hit the notification bell so you can be notified when I'm dropping content and going live on the channel as well. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel as I drop content daily. Go live daily, stay very busy on the platform. And last but not least, please leave your thoughts and your opinions in the comment section, as I'm always intrigued to know what you all have to say about these topics. And ladies and gentlemen, we got to talk about that young phenom, Caitlin Clark. All right, because I've been very critical of her. Um, I'm very tough on all the athletes I like. You know what I mean? Don't like and like. To be honest, uh, and Caitlin Clark, she was pretty much on playing on another planet in her college days. I've been following Caitlin Clark since she was a freshman at Iowa, so just seeing the evolution has been something to see. But, ladies and gentlemen, I want to throw out there because I already been seeing WNBA Twitter blowing up. Um, everybody just immediately run to this. Oh, it was all Caitlin Clark. No, 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 no. Caitlin Clark was a huge contributor to a beautiful team win. The Indiana Fever came out yesterday. They looked well rested. They looked, excited. I haven't seen Caitlin Clark that energetic since last season. Her last season in college when it started. I think that break, the All Star break, Olympic break, did her very well. She did say that she didn't participate in the All Star 3-point contest because she wanted to get some rest and reset her mental and all that kind of stuff. And a lot of people kind of took that as her being making an excuse on why she didn't want to participate in it. But I was I was waiting. I was quiet. You know what I mean? I said something when she first made that announcement. She was getting a lot of pushback for it. I made an announcement. I made a take that, all right, if you're going to take your break, that's cool, CC, but you got to come back after the break on fire. And lo and behold, I love that what she put together yesterday. But yesterday was a complete effort by all members of the Indiana Fever, especially the big four of Caitlin Clark, Kelsey Mitchell, Aaliyah Boston, and Nalissa Smith. She doesn't get a lot of credit in her contributions, but Nalissa Smith is very much so a huge part of what the Indiana Fever are doing. She she's kind of like the all-purpose player, if that makes sense. She kind of does a little bit of everything. Gets some rebounds from time to time. She can, uh, you know, uh, play a lot. She's very feverish on defense. I love her defense. She accepts the challenge. Yesterday, she was doing her damn best on Brittany Griner. But I think Nalissa Smith should get a little bit more credit, as well as Kelsey Mitchell, man. Kelsey Mitchell is a baller. And I was saying yesterday that I feel like Kelsey Mitchell is literally the most underrated player in the WNBA. I can't think of another player in the W that does as much as she does and doesn't get any credit for it. Respectfully, she is playing with the most marketable player that has ever entered the WNBA. And she's been there a little while. She's one of those veterans that's been balling, but doesn't get a lot of credit. So I think that kind of works against her as well. But she is an absolute basketball player. And let's get into these stats real quick, ladies and gentlemen, if y'all don't mind, because it was a great game. I think this is going to fall into the category of instant classic, okay? Because the Indiana Fever, they came out hot. They started the game uh, just knocking down three after three after three. Now, I want to say this. I think this was more so because the Phoenix Mercury were a bit exhausted. They are coming off a back to back. They played the Chicago Sky the night before, and then again played the Indiana Fever last night. So these are two well rested teams that didn't have any. Well, Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark participated in the All Star game. Aaliyah Boston did as well. But, they've been off for 3 weeks. The All Star game was exactly 3 weeks ago, last Saturday. So they've had a long time to rest, but you also had the big three for the Phoenix Mercury, Kalia Copper, Diana Taurasi, and Brittany Griner. They all were, playing basketball full time, practicing all that stuff in the Olympics. And then to come straight off of the Olympics, winning the gold medal literally this Sunday, the Sunday that started this week, to now playing two back-to-back games. I think the WNBA should do a little better. When they schedule out the schedule next time, I think every team should have a couple of days to rest, especially if you have Olympic competition. But the Olympics is only every 4 years, so this is a very special and unique situation for the Phoenix Mercury. But I did see, that they started off a little lazy because they seemed fatigued, and they had a great game against the Chicago Sky. They came out hot themselves on that game. So it was like probably spent a little bit too much energy, defeating the Chicago Sky. But I just want to throw that caveat out there because I know that the Indiana Fever was able to do what they did. Very happy for them, proud of them as a young team as well. I think the Indiana Fever are probably one of the youngest teams in the W right now. But at the same time, there's no excuses. The Indiana Fever from time to time, they've had to play back to back. So, every the pendulum swings every way in sports. Sometimes you're the well rested team that's hot and ready to go. Sometimes you're the team that's coming off a back to back. But I don't think that's an excuse because it started out with the Indiana Fever super hot, just coming out. I can't tell you how many threes they hit that first half, but it was a barrage. And they had taken so much so they had taken a 30-point lead. At one point, the game was 48-18. And I was shocked myself because I've been talking a lot of crap. I've been very supportive of Kalia Copper and as well as the Phoenix Mercury. I think they're the dark horse of the championship race. Everybody's talking about the Aces and the Liberty, but I think the Phoenix Mercury are right there in the mix. Hold on one second, y'all. 1 second. Let me get my other phone so we can run down the numbers. Because I remember everybody's numbers for the most part. I just want to have some precision with it. But again, Indiana Fever, they came out hot. 3-point barrage, 30-point lead. Second half starts, and Kalia Copper got something to say about it. Kalia Copper yesterday put up 32 points, y'all. Again, let me see what her shooting numbers was like. She put up 32, and I hate this for her, that she plays with a player like Diana Taurasi because Diana is just she's 42 years old, and the reason why the Indiana Fever were able to get so many 3-pointers off is because Diana Taurasi is so flat footed. And I hate to say it like this because I actually have respect for her, and I've watched Diana Taurasi over the years, not as a hardcore WNBA fan, but literally as a casual, for years on end. So I do have a respect for what she's done for the game and her longevity in the game. But it's time to hang it up, big sis, because she is just like Caitlin Clark was just walking past her. There was a couple of plays Caitlin Clark didn't have to really make a move. She's 42. Diane Taurasi ain't gonna put that much effort in on the defensive side of the basketball. And yesterday it cost the Phoenix Mercury big time. Brittany Griner was kind of mid. She had 10 points, I believe, and ended up fouling out. And you could tell she felt some kind of way. Probably was fatigued herself. And she felt some kind of way about, how the Indiana Fever was beating them down. And also, I don't mind when Kayla Clark does this, but it's kind of like some front running stuff because we've seen her have bad games and, she'll be tucking her head, tucking her tail. But at the same time, Caitlin Clark was out there japping at her mouth, yakking, talking ish. Every time she hit a big three, she was taunting either the crowd or the Phoenix Mercury. And Brittany Griner was getting tired of it. I could tell, Diana Taurasi was just kind of letting it slide off her shoulder, and Kalia Copper was just talking back with her game, and she just continuously kept fighting back, doing what she had to do to keep the Phoenix Mercury in it. Sophie Cunningham as well. She had to hit a couple shots, some momentum changing shots, but at the end of the day, um, they spent all of their energy trying to erase the 30-point deficit. At the end of when it came down to the fourth quarter, they kind of gassed out, and the Indiana Fever were able to close the game. And again, this is a very impressive game because I've seen games like this where the Indiana Fever. Sorry, I'm putting up this box score. I've seen games like this where the Indiana Fever did take a big lead. You know what I mean? And then they end up coughing up the game at the end of the day. But they follow through, open the game beautifully, close the game beautifully. All right, guys, let me see. I really like ESPN. Here we go. They be tripping, man. ESPN be giving me the old, like the old game. Like, bro, who's checking for July 12th, ESPN? I ain't looking for the July 12th game, bro. I like it because ESPN, they give you the whole statistics. Should go to basketball reference, really. They got the advanced stats. But all right, let's get to it. Caitlin Clark again had 29 points, almost a 30 burger. She shot 8 of 16 from the field very efficiently. I love that. She was also 4 of 11 from the 3-point line. Again, 29 points, 10 assists, 5 rebounds. And she did contribute as well 5 turnovers. But I want to say this to her 5 turnovers because the haters, listen, I'm critical of all my favorite athletes, like I said, but Caitlin Clark does have some haters, man. I could immediately after the game, I've noticed people talking crazy, like, oh, she did this, but she had 5 turnovers. It's like, yes, but do you know how turnovers work? Like these were the turnovers she had in this game weren't as let me say it like they weren't painful. They didn't cost the team. She had turnovers, but it'll be like a turnover. She lose the dribble, and, but they get back on the play. The defense will recover, excuse me, and they didn't allow a score. So that turnover doesn't hurt you as much as a turnover where you lose the ball, the other team's coming down and they hit a three. That's probably the most painful type turnovers. But her turnovers this game didn't result in many shots. I can't tell you how many turnovers, points off turnovers the Mercury had. I just recall seeing a few of them, and I'm gonna do a gameplay breakdown because the haters, man, I don't understand why people just have such vitriol in their heart for athletes. But she did have 5 turnovers, but they weren't 5 detrimental turnovers, if I could say that. It is an ugly stat, an ugly number on the stat because she's averaging 5 turnovers. She now has over 150 turnovers for the season. But I want to make a caveat and say these weren't detrimental turnovers. These are actually, if this sounds good, I mean, if this sounds crazy, these were healthy turnovers. You know what I mean? So she did lose the ball, but she was a lot more careful and more pretentious with the ball this game. Just want to throw that bit of caveat out there. And there was also plus 13 in her plus minus department, which is very important because that shows that she's actually playing defense as well. She ain't just out there scoring and standing around. Kelsey Mitchell, again, my hot take. I gotta give a video just to Kelsey, because right now I feel like she's the most underrated basketball player in the league. She's good. She can get hot and give you 25 points at any given time in a game. She's like microwave hot, Enrique Ngumbale hot, Kalia Copper hot. And she showed it yesterday. She just came out of nowhere, was looking like Klay Thompson from the 3-point line. I was tweeting throughout this whole game, I was very proud of the Indiana Fever. Now this is crazy, I know, because I'm a Chicago Sky fan. I'm a diehard Chicago, dedicated Chicago fan. But I was proud to see the young Indiana Fever play like this because this is how I've been expecting them to play throughout the whole season. They haven't really maintained any kind of consistency. It's been all Caitlin Clark, or it's been all Aaliyah Boston, or it's been all Aaliyah Boston and a little Kelsey Mitchell, or it's been all Kelsey Mitchell and a little Aaliyah. It's just been a very inconsistent mix. So it was good to see them get down like they did today. Last night. 28 points for Kelsey Mitchell. She also pitched in 5 rebounds, three. I shouldn't say steals, 3 assists, one big block. Um, and she went 11 of 22 from the field and 6 of 13 from the 3-point line. 6 of 13. That's Klay Thompson ish. Like I said, and she hit some big threes. Oh, one more thing about those turnovers, ladies and gentlemen. I had it in my notes. No fourth quarter turnovers for Caitlin Clark. That's something else the haters didn't pay attention to because I had to shut down. Only reason I didn't go live last night and do an immediate recap was because I had to get on Twitter and shut down all the haters, man. And that's like I said, they immediately ran to the 5 turnovers. Like, well, she didn't have any in the fourth quarter, and Kalia Copper and the Phoenix Mercury were making a comeback, and I'm 100% sure they could have used a turnover or two to maintain their momentum, but no fourth quarter turnovers for Caitlin Clark, albeit having 5 3/4 isn't great. No, none when the game was on the line, when the stakes, were at their highest. But just wanted to throw that in there. But again, 28 for Kelsey Mitchell, 11 to 22 from the field, 6 to 13 from the line. Aaliyah Boston, the number 1 pick of the 2023 WNBA draft. I love Aaliyah Boston. She is tough, and she was going toe to toe with Brittany Griner, man. And Brittany Griner was roughing her up. Brittany Griner was trying to play bully ball with Aaliyah Boston, but Aaliyah Boston really showed grit and showed face yesterday because she wasn't very productive. As typically she is. She's usually good for about 20 and 10 in the game, but she was what the things she was doing wouldn't show up on the scoreboard if that makes sense. As she was pretty much single handedly, nullifying Brittany Griner on some possessions, and also she was giving her a tough time on the defensive side of the ball as well. As far as Aaliyah Boston putting pressure on her, she wasn't, sitting around taking jump shots. She would force the issue and draw fouls on Brittany Griner, which end up being beneficial to the Indiana Fever, as Brittany Griner found out. But Aaliyah Boston had 14 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, no blocks. But she did go 4 of 4 from the free throw line and 5 of 11 from the field. So again, just doing those little things where it mattered in a game like this, where she was outmatched, considering Brittany Griner is probably the most intimidating force in the WNBA. Again, she held her own. Nalissa Smith, who is really garnishing my respect. I have a real appreciation and love for how Nalissa Smith plays because she gets none of the credit. She gets none of the attention. Even Kelsey Mitchell was an all-star. Leah Boston was an all-star. Nobody talked about Nalissa Smith. Respectfully, Nalissa Smith is the number 2 draft pick of the 2022 WNBA draft. So she ain't no scrub. She was very highly touted coming into the league. And so I feel like she doesn't get a lot of credit. I just want to give her flowers because she does all of those those little things, those dirty things, if you will. But she put up 13 points. She also put up 9 rebounds. Uh, had an assist, 3 of 3 from the free throw line, went 0 for 3 from the 3-point line, but shot 5 of 12 from the field in total. The Indiana Fever, and again, another person we got to give a little shout out to, Lexi Hall. Lexi Hall was out there playing defense. I think that Lexi Hall is the number 1 perimeter defender for this team, and she's always taking on the toughest assignments. She was really, when Kalia Copper missed a shot, or was having a difficult time on offense, it was because of Lexi Hall for the most part. She was really doing another player out there doing the dirty things that doesn't show up on the scoreboard. But she put up 2 of 4 on 2 3-pointers. She shot 2 of 4 from the field on 2 3-pointers. Excuse me. Um, so yeah, man, just another, like I say, just a beautiful all around game. From the Indiana Fever. Real quick, let me look at my. Because Kalia Copper and Arika and Ogunbole are fighting for my favorite player spot right now. So I just got to shout out the team. Kalia, she put up 32 once again, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, a steal. Just doing everything for this team. She shot 6 of 17, not very well from the line, but 2 of 7 from the 3 point line. She wasn't efficient at all, but she did shoot 18 of 19 from the free throw line, man. She was drawing fouls on everybody. Again, that was mostly on, Lexi Hall, Kelsey Mitchell, Caitlin Clark. Nobody can guard this young lady. That's why I love Khalil Copper. I've not seen anybody been able to guard her. And then, in addition to, she's a former member of my Chicago Sky. We just recently traded her in February, man. And when I heard that we traded her, I was pissed off. It kind of felt like a Derrick Rose type situation, minus, Derrick Rose never won a championship. But when the Chicago Bulls finally traded Derrick Rose, man, I can't tell you the kind of, the somberness. Because it's just like it was the end of an era. It was beautiful having a hometown kid play for the hometown team. A little different in Kalia Copper's situation, as when we acquired Kalia Copper, she was a prospect. You know what I mean? Her story arc is closer to like a Jimmy Butler's, as she came into the Chicago Sky as just a rotational player, just getting a few minutes a game. I think her first season with us, she only put up like 7 minutes. 7 points a game, and then end up developing into our leader, our franchise player. She is the one that led us to the WNBA championship. I believe she was putting up like 18 points a game that season. No, I'm capping. She averaged like 17 points a game, 16 or 17. But I'm just really attached to Kalia Copper, man, because she's such a phenomenal basketball player. Once played for my team, and I'm petitioning right now, y'all. I am begging the Chicago Sky on WNBA Twitter to do what they can to get her back. I don't know what we could do, but her, Angel Reese, Camilla Cardoso, I think that would be a beautiful, big three core for us to start building off of, and a big three core that could contend with a team like the Indiana Fever, man. Because low key, the Indiana Fever are stacked. You know what I mean? They got the what's the lady? I think Samuelson. I mean, got Katie Samuelson. Let me look at her name real quick. I know she played in the Olympics. I just can't recall. It was like, yeah, Katie Lou Samuelson. Yeah, Katie Lou, man. Katie Lou is sneaky too. She ain't get to put up some points, but I think she played in the Olympics, so she ain't no scrub at all. So I would love for Kalia Copper to come back to the Chicago Sky's just to provide a little bit more of a competitive factor for the for the Sky. But again, Kalia went crazy, 18 and 19 from the free throw line. I didn't even notice that when I was originally looking at the box score. She had shot a lot of free throws. Uh, Natasha Cloud, quiet as kept. She was the only help offensively that Kalia Copper could get. I'm not gonna say it like that. It was, Diana Taurasi had 16 quietly. Um, and Brittany Griner put up 10, but it's just like their points was empty calories. You know what I mean? It just didn't really contribute anything. Diana Taurasi and Brittany Griner, for the most part, when they were scoring, it was during the 30-point deficit. So it was like, it wasn't really, the points that mattered, if you will, when it came down to the stretch. As when it did come down to the stretch, Diana Taurasi was just a traffic cone out there. Everybody walking past her, and Brittany Griner was essentially fouled out at that point. But Natasha Cloud was the one anomaly on the Mercury offense that was providing Kalia Copper with some real assistance, as she went 7 of 13 from the field. Also, she's a 30% 3 point shooter, but she managed a way to shoot 5 of 8 from the 3 point line. She got hot yesterday. And it has scored a total of 19 points. I love Natasha Cloud because she's a defensive stalwart. She's kind of like a 3 and D type of player. Um, she's a little bit more so like a 3 and D type player, but at the same time, from time to time, she can get Hot on the offensive side of the basketball. She also put up 3 steals, very impressive. She was giving Kelsey Mitchell and Caitlin Clark a hard time on the off. I mean, excuse me, on the defense. Sophie Cunningham, a player that I'm a big fan of, a 3-point sharpshooter in the WNBA. She put up 6 points on 2 of 6 from the 3-point line. Just wasn't enough, but she did put up 2 steals. She tried. She tried. And I like Sophie Cunningham. She plays a very impressive. I like her sharpshooting style. Excuse me. Um, but yeah, man, you could just tell that the Phoenix Mercury were out of it, and it was just Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever were very well rested and very well prepared. Sorry, I'm looking at the team stats. Okay, yeah, let's look at these team stats. But I want to see. I know they went 14 to 36 from the line, but I'm just trying to see the Indiana Fever as a total. They shot 45%. That's what I was looking at. Like they was shooting very efficiently yesterday. Shot 45.9% as a team. That's scary. The best NBA players in the league shoot 45% from the field. So as a team, the Indiana Fever, which is playing supreme basketball, 3-point percentage. Both teams actually were identical in that department. It didn't feel like that. I'll be honest. It did not feel like that in the game. But the Indiana Fever and Phoenix Mercury both shot 14 of 36 from the 3-point line for a total of 38.9%. Um, yeah, 30 the 3-point percentage. Free throws. The Phoenix Mercury actually shot more free throws at 25 for 28. Um, and the Phoenix Indiana Fever shot 16 of 17, 25 of 60 total field goals for the Phoenix Mercury, 34 of 74 for the Indiana Fever, 39 rebounds for the Indiana Fever, uh, 31 rebounds for the Phoenix Mercury. Offensive rebound department, Indiana won that 8-3. They won the defensive battle as well, defensive rebound battle, 31-28. Assist. Oh man, I gotta throw in this. Caitlin Clark assist game, bro. She's something special, man. I think that's probably the one aspect of her game that's going to continue to grow and continue to be her bread and butter. As she be making passes that I don't think are even possible sometimes. Sometimes I don't even see them. I like to think that I have a bit of a foresight on the court, but she was making some passes yesterday, man. That was just super impressive. Putting the ball right in the pocket, you know what I mean, right in your teammates' pocket. They're comfortable, their comfort zone where they can just get the ball, go up and shoot. Those are the kind of passes that Caitlin Clark makes, which, in my opinion, are the best passes in the game. You can make a good pass. You can see an open teammate. That's one kind of pass. But when you make a pass where your teammate ain't even in that spot yet, say like on a fast break, you throw the ball ahead a little bit. Those kind of passes, those are the ones that I really like, and that's why I say I'm excited about what Caitlin Clark was doing yesterday. But as a team, the Fever put up 23 assists to the Phoenix Mercury 16. And of those 23 that the Indiana Fever had, Caleb Clark once again put up 10 of those. Steals, actually, the Phoenix Mercury won that department 7-4. Again, that's much to do with Natasha Cloud. She had 3 of those 7 steals alone. 3 blocks for the Phoenix Mercury, 4 blocks for the Indiana Fever. Both teams tied out at 11. In the turnover department, points conceded off turnovers, which is what I was saying earlier. Very key. That's why I say the turnovers that Caitlin Clark had were more so healthy turnovers. They were bad. Turnovers are bad any way you cut it. But the Indiana Fever was still able to win the points conceded off turnovers battle, as they went +3 in that department actually. The Phoenix Mercury scored 11 off turnovers. Indiana Fever scored 14, excuse me, off turnovers. So that's a very crucial stat. If you're turning the ball over but you're recovering on defense, it's not as detrimental to the team. It won't, count so much against you at the end of the game because it's kind of like a loss for a loss, if you will. But at the same time, no fourth quarter turnovers, no turnovers when it mattered for Caitlin Clark, and I think that's more so an eye test kind of a thing that if you see just the box score, you might think that she was out there coughing up the ball again. But no, it was actually again some healthy turnovers where actually Caitlin Clark turned the ball over and immediately, got back on defense and made impact. As you can see, the Indiana Fever, not the Indiana Fever, the Phoenix Mercury were not able to capitalize on a lot of those turnovers, only scoring 11 points. That's only about three or four possessions of points. Points in the paint, Indiana absolutely dominated 34-10, which like I say, I was paying attention to the threes. Maybe I just did not see this, but the Indiana Fever were getting busy in the paint. 17-17 on the fouls. Indiana, yeah, largest lead in the game was 28 for the Indiana Fever, and 1 point for the Phoenix Mercury, which was on a big shot from Kalia Copper. Kalia Copper hit a big shot to give the Phoenix Mercury their first lead of the game, their only lead of the game. And once they got that 1 point lead, they was never able really to recover. But all in all, man, it was an instant classic. Very excited for what Caitlin Clark and Indiana Fever are going to do for the remainder of this season. Again, I made a video yesterday prior to the game, just saying saying the thing that I said yesterday, that I was very excited about Caitlin Clark's second half of the season because I thought that she was going to come back well rested. I know that she works on her game often. I follow her on her Instagram, and I don't know if I follow on Twitter, but I watch. She's always doing stuff on Instagram. Her, Angel Reese, they are very active, being ambassadors for the game. So I was hoping that she was able to get the practice in as well while she was still doing her vacation and all that. And obviously, she was working on her game in the quiet times. As you can see, for the first time, ladies and gentlemen, we've seen the Iowa Hawkeye, Caitlin Clark, in the WNBA. I know she's had moments. She's had some great moments so far in the W. Had a great first half of the season, give or take. There was some things that you could nitpick about, and there are definitely some things you can criticize her about. But I would say overall, she had a phenomenal first half of the season. The only thing she could have did is exactly what she did. Give us the Iowa Hawkeye, Caitlin Clark, for this half of the season, and that was exactly what we seen yesterday. That was a vintage performance, a great performance. I'm hoping that they can keep it up. Of course, I want my Chicago Sky to be in the mix just as much, but I'm supporting the super rookies, man. You know what I mean? I support basketball. I support women's basketball. So at the end of the day, whoever makes it, I just want some fair, transparent parity. Something that we don't get in the NBA these days. Um, and I'm loving the parity of the WNBA. I honestly do not know right now who's going to win it. I got my money on the New York Liberty. The Aces, of course, you can't count them out with Asia Wilson. Phoenix Mercury are my dark horse. Nafisa Collier and Minnesota Lynx are just low key dominating, probably one of the hottest teams. Nafisa Collier, probably, if you ain't talking about Asia Wilson or Breanna Stewart, I guess you could put Nafisa at the number 3 for MVP. And then of course you got these young squads, these young players like Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, putting their names in the hat as well. Not for MVP. Don't let me start capping, but just putting their names in the mix as far as some of the better players in the league. I'm loving the W, man. I'm definitely loving it. Of course, some things they still got to clean up on the marketing. I think that the marketing still needs to be cleaned up. Just being 100. But as far as the product on the court, um, I'm enjoying it. I'm loving what these ladies are putting together. But we're gonna do a little studying, get ready for today's games. Also got to go watch this Las Vegas Aces game. I forget who they play. I think it was the Seattle Storm. I think they played. So I'm gonna watch that game. I'm gonna recap that, see what the leading candidate for MVP was doing yesterday. And also, it was another game, the Connecticut Sun. dominated yesterday versus the Dallas Wings, which I love the Connecticut Sun, Alyssa Thomas, DeWanna Bonner. She had a vintage performance. She put up damn near 30 points. I believe she put up 29 on a very impressive shooting night. But I used to live in Texas, man. I got a special spot in my heart for the Dallas Wings, and I just can't stand that they stink right now as bad as they do, especially because they have Arika Agumbale, who is probably my favorite player right now in the league. Um, I just feel like the Dallas Wings, man, they can't get right. I don't know what's going on over there, but I'm gonna recap that game a little later. Y'all like this video, share this video, hit the notification bell so you can be notified when I'm dropping content and going live on the channel. If you haven't already, please stop just for half a second and subscribe to the channel as I go live daily, drop content daily, excuse me. Stay very busy on the platform. I have a couple videos uploaded as we speak. And last but not least, please leave y'all's thoughts and opinions in the comment section. Always interested to know what y'all got to say, especially about, again, the phenom Caitlin Clark. I know that she's been a lightning rod figure. She's taken a lot of criticism. There's a lot of fanboys out there for Caitlin Clark. Let's not get it twisted. And some people out there that just she can't do no wrong with. It's one of I don't believe in extremes. I think that if you stay fair, then you're gonna be able to enjoy what she does. That's the only way you can maximize the joy you can get out of what she does. If you can just stay fair in your assessments with Kayla Clark, you'll be able to see. You'll be able to extract, excuse me, the greatness of what she's doing. Because she's still just a rookie. Everybody, everybody talks about Caitlin Clark, but nobody really brings up that she's a rookie. She's learning all of this stuff on the fly. This is her first experience with professional basketball, and she's going toe to toe with the big dogs. So that's all I got to say about it. Y'all let me know what y'all have to say about it in the comment section. I am Tony the Savant. Peace.